See if I can explain it. So first things first, I have a hollow core, so I put some tape on the end of that to make sure that the core doesn't punch through the pommel end. Now, I've got my blue foam here, so I'm gonna mark out how tall I want my pommel to be. Now, I already got some space right here, and this is the space I'm gonna work it with. Got a little bit of a nastiness from the handle. It's just an old weapon, so it looks pretty grody, but that's enough space for a good size pommel. I would say don't go any shorter than like 1.5 inches. Otherwise, it's just gonna like rip off. Yeah. Now, I don't have to be very stingy with foam because I got a ton of it. So I usually am going to just like cut out a size that I think is probably a little too much, but it's going to be fine because I can cut it down, and this is much easier to work with than that giant big ass roll. So mark with the pen, right? Yeah. And then we're gonna go down here. Yeah. And then go down here. And yeah. Okay. So I've got my lines. I'm gonna trace that out. I hope I'm as good at editing videos as I think I am. Okay. So, something like that. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. So, now I'm going for until I get to, oh my gosh, that's actually really, really good. Okay, so that's about the size you want. You want like 2 layers on every side of that. That's about the distance for most cores. Now, I'm holding this knife, crappy knife, at an angle, and then I'm just moving it like this as I try and saw through my material here. I am just trying to get a little bit of a bevel going. And like that's good enough. Just something to make it a little bit easier to press that down. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing with the other side. A little bit extra off because I don't think I need that. Okay, so now I've got a piece that's got a wedge on one side and a wedge on the other, and that's going to just make this whole thing wrap up much nicer when I've got it all flush and flush. Right, so that's kind of what you're looking for right there. Now, I am a lazy son of a bitch, so I don't really like to use glue when I'm making my pommels. I usually just like to use tape. So I'm gonna take a good sized chunk of tape. I know that I'm going to have to wrap a couple times. So I've got a nice good layer on one end. I'm gonna take this and stick it on here. Now, like I said, I'm gonna have to wrap the tape around a couple times, but that's okay because that's kind of what I want. That way I know it's not really gonna go anywhere. Ripping tape with one hand. As a forewarning, rip your tape out ahead of time, unlike me, who's trying to remember how to do things while I'm doing them in the video. Alright, so that's where we're at right now. We've got a pretty good size all the way around. this is not good. We have to secure it more. So if you're feeling this and you're like, that's not gonna hold, it's not, you're right. But we're gonna put a couple cap ends and then we're gonna seal this whole thing onto the handle with tape. So now that I've got this shape, I'm gonna take my little square here and my marker, and we're gonna trace out a couple of circles or squares. Honestly, I'm okay with my pommels looking a little janky, just because that's who I am. So we'll cut out these shapes. Now, if you want to be nice and nice, make them circles, but I don't like being nice and nice. So I'm going to keep them as kind of squares. Okay, so I've got my end here. I've got my two caps. I'm going to place one like this, and I'm going to place one offset like this for a little star pattern. Now, this time I am going to pre-rip my pieces of duct tape, and for each one, I'm going to take a good size of tape and then split it down the middle. Over here for now, over here for now. And I'm going to do that a second time. And that's going to be for each cap. So, one more. With that, you're over here with your buddies. So are you. You know what? We're going to do it for the other strip while I've got you here. Alright, that should be good. So, bam, first one here. And I am going to do the flat sides, okay? So, over here. Now, you want this tape, for how I do it, to get on the handle there. I don't know if you can see that, because that's what we're gonna use to really clamp everything down once we've got it all there. A little on screen. Okay, first X. Second X. Okay, so that's round one with the tape. Okay, second cap's going on. This one usually is good enough, but if you want a weapon that's going to last, or if you want a pommel that's going to last longer, I really recommend putting a second piece of tape. And I'm going to do it offset from the last one. Sorry, it's going to be a little hard. I'm not going to show you this because I can't do it that way. I need my legs to hold the sword, you know. Now, I've got 2 layers on this bad boy, so that is almost finished. Now, of course, this is just silver duct tape. I'm gonna go over it with black cloth tape to make it look nice and nice, but we don't waste cloth tape for building things. We just use cloth tape for finishing things. At least around here we do. And then I'm going to take some tape here again, and now we're going to take this bottom edge and I'm going to try and squeeze the shit out of this as good as I can without breaking any of the tape. cloth tape's actually really good for this because it usually doesn't tear when pulled. Usually it tears when you rip it. So that's nice. It's better than the duct tape usually does. And bam! I mean, like, you know, it's not a pretty pommel, but it is a pommel, and I'm definitely going to fight with this. It's got a good feel to it. I'll check it for template before I finish it up. And I mean, that's how you build it. That's how you build a pommel as far as I'm concerned. This is the same style pommel that I use on my pole arms, that I use on my spears, swords. Shit, if I had a pommel on my shield, I'd probably do it this way. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, please hit me up.